Just got beamed in. Okay. Hey guys, welcome. Good morning. How are you? Books by Adrian Santiago, sci-fi fantasy author, Mythic, Shadow of the Spark. We are doing sprints and stuff today. Let's get into it. Oh, right. So, good morning. It's early. We got stuff to do. So, I think we're going to get into it. Here we go. First off, let's take 5 minutes to welcome everybody in, get everybody in, and talk about what we're doing today. It is the AuthorTube and BookTube under 1K marathon. You all know why you're here. You all know why I'm here. We're here to get some work done, get some sprinting, get some writing done, all that good stuff. All right. We are going to be doing Pomodoro sprints today. They're going to be 25-minute sprints. We're going to have 10-minute short breaks and 15-minute long breaks. We're going to alternate between a short break and a long break. We will chit-chat in between. I have a hard time actually getting work done when I'm running a sprint. So I'm probably just going to be in the chat with you guys who are not working, but you should be working. So as long as everybody's working and silent, then maybe I can work, but I don't know. You know what? That's not on you. That's on me. I'll figure that out. Okay. So let's welcome everyone. Hello. I'm sorry. I'm not going to try to pronounce that name. That looks hard. Hi, Sarah. Good morning. Hello, Amber. Good morning. Stephanie. Good morning. This is a new one. Cagnazo. Welcome. I like your name. Jessica Berry. Awesome name. Okay. Again, the I don't know. Emmy. Hi. Hello, Emmy. Sam. Good morning. Chandra. Is that Chandra? Chandra. So many new people. Hello. Welcome. For those of you who are new, we have 3 minutes left. I am Adrian Santiago. As I said before, I write sci-fi fantasy. My first novel is Mythic, Shadow of the Spark. How do I do this? Like that. There you go. Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it? Yes, I'm very proud of that cover. And if you would like to decide whether or not such a book is worth your time, there is a short story that serves as the prologue to that novel, and you can get that on ebook absolutely free by going to booksbyadrian.com and signing up for the newsletter. The link is in the chat, so go ahead and click on that. You can also buy this printed version if you prefer, which has 3 sample chapters from the novel. So this will also help you to make up your mind whether or not you want to buy the novel. But ultimately, you should just buy the novel because it's awesome. It is a sci-fi fantasy world. It's a full cast of characters with different points of views. We have mystery, we have thriller, we have murders, we have drug culture, we've got LGBTQ plus characters in lead roles, we have BIPOC representation, we've got, you know what, it's a big stew of stuff, and it's awesome. And it's because I'm a big stew of stuff and I'm awesome. So that's why I write my books the way I do. And you know what? While we're on the subject, before I wrote this book, everybody told me not to. They're like, don't, do a series for your first book. So I broke that rule. And then they were like, hey, man, maybe don't make it 150,000 words. And I was like, hold my beer. You know what I mean? I do what I want. Let's get some music going. All right. Cassandra. Good morning. I've always loved the name Cassandra. I knew a girl named Cassandra in high school. I had a huge crush on her, but I even took her to homecoming. And that's the night I lost her. Life is hard. It's okay. I married up. If you'll excuse me, I am fighting off a bit of a cold that was gifted to me by my children. Gotta love kids. They're like little buckets of disease that live in your house. And so forgive me. I just need to wipe a little. All right. Rule breakers for the win. I'm saying, right? It's okay. I won't hold it against you. She was really nice. All right. So we have under a minute before we go into our first sprint. So let's get ready to do so. We are going to be heading into a 25-minute, write those words down, type of sprint. All right. In 30 seconds. Here we go. By the way, there's questions for you guys to answer in the chat. There's an Ask Me Anything thing going on. And, explore a little bit. Go to the website, do whatever you got to do to get to know me a little more. If you have questions, let me know. And I'll share more on the break. All right, y'all. Here we go. I'm just going to go ahead and skip these last 15 seconds. Boom. Now you're on the clock. And go. All right, you jokers and jamokers. Let's do a 10-minute break on this one. Short break. All right. Timer has begun. Fantastic. I love how it does that automatically. All right. How did everybody do? Shout it out in the comments. Word counts. If you were sweeping your floor, how many square inches did you get done? Whatever it is. Progress reports. Let's hear it. Cheers. All right. So I'm getting some audiobook recs in there. Stephanie wants me to read 1984. I will be checking that out. That's actually a great suggestion. And before I forget, I'm going to add it to my list. 1984. Boom. All right. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Holy moly. 12 poems edited. Outstanding. Let's change this music though. All right. 525. Very nice. Very nice. Not a lot yet. 132 words so far. Hey, you know what? That's 132 words you didn't have before. Sounds like a lot to me. 643 and a coffee refill. That coffee refill is very important. I did the same. So well done. 643 with the coffee refill is actually quite impressive. 26 different trivia questions. Good amount for an hour. Heck yeah. I have trouble coming up with 2. Working on a Substack post my Sunday. What I did this week. Opened up my doc, made tea and a water bottle, and now looking over the edits I made yesterday. Very nice. Got distracted by our neighbor's stolen grocery cart slowly making its way across their icy driveway. Well, you know, karma is something. I don't want to get too involved in book stuff because I have to go take big laundry to my mom's in like 2 hours. Yeah, big laundry. No fun. 280 words. Nice. 50K for this so far. Whoa, that's a novel. Well done. 276. Excellent. Phil Dragash's Lord of the Rings fan audiobook is pretty good. It has a little soundscape and also uses movie score. So here's the thing. I have read The Lord of the Rings several times over, but I hadn't listened to the audiobooks. And last year, a couple months ago, I listened to The Fellowship of the Ring, narrated by Andy Serkis. And I don't want to listen to any Lord of the Rings book in any other way other than Andy Serkis reading them because it is perfect. I will be reading Two Towers and The Return of the King this year on audiobook, narrated by Andy Serkis specifically because he's the GOAT. Greatest of all time for the layman. All right. It does sound like a short story in itself. Waking up my kids in about 30 minutes, or give or take, so we can get started with their lessons for the day. You have to wake up your kids? My kids wake us up. It's outstanding. Let me tell you something. Not only does he obviously do the Gollum Smeagol voice, but being Andy Serkis, being a voice actor, he does voices for all the characters. And what I really, really love is that he has absolutely separated the films from the books, as one should. So his voices for the characters in the books are very different from the characters in the movies. He doesn't do impressions of his fellow cast members. His Gandalf sounds like, if anybody here has ever listened to that podcast, Hello from the Magic Tavern, there's a wizard character on there named Usador. I swear he sounds exactly like Usador. Andy Serkis's Gollum sounds like Usador the Blue. And every time I listen to that Gandalf speak, all I hear is the hilarious Usador in my head. So that's awesome. But then, and again, like, he doesn't do impressions of all the other characters, but there is one character that I feel like he is doing an impression of, and that's Billy Boyd's Pippin. His Pippin, Andy Serkis's Pippin, sounds very much like Billy Boyd's Pippin, albeit maybe turned up a little bit. Like he's kind of making fun of him a little bit. I just love that he poked fun at him. The best thing about Andy Serkis narrating The Lord of the Rings is the songs. For anyone who has ever read The Lord of the Rings and disliked the songs or skipped them, I don't know what's wrong with you in general, but I know you exist. Check it out with Andy Serkis. You'll never skip those songs again. He kills it. It's so good. I can't recommend it enough. I'm going to hang out and listen while I work. Best book you've read all this year. The best book I read this year is the third book in the Mistborn Era 1 trilogy, The Hero of Ages. This is the best book I read this year. The last 100 pages of this thing tore my heart out and showed it to me. If that's your thing, check it out. But start with book 1 if you haven't read it. My mother had to wake up her dog. I want to say that's random, but I feel like it fits in with what we were talking about. They are 12 and 14, so they do love their sleep. Yeah, they used to grace us with their appearance at like 5 or 6. Yeah, kids. Ugh. Mine are still 9 and 5, so mine are still waking up and doing the whole thing. He sounds exactly like Usador the Blue. I mean, exactly like him. It almost takes me out. But of course, Gandalf is captivating. The moment that sealed it for me was after Frodo makes it to Rivendell and meets back up with Gandalf. And Gandalf is explaining to him, which doesn't happen in the movie, but he's explaining to him what happened at the river, right? With the 9 and the water turning to the horses and stuff. He explains that was Elrond's magic, right? Protecting the borders of Rivendell. But then Gandalf adds this little detail of like, I added a little flair with the horses. I don't know if you noticed. They might have, I thought it was pretty cool. Like, just bragging about making the magic more magic-y or something. And it was just so Usador. You know what I mean? Like, especially with that voice. Oh, so good. So good. Yeah, please do. Sazed. Oh. Sazed. You're going to make me cry. I am, unfortunately, the hero of ages. I love it. It's so good. It's so stinking good. Yeah, that book gave me the kinds of reactions that I really, really want to instill in my readers. I learned a lot from Brandon Sanderson in that first Mistborn era trilogy because, man, he knows how to do it. He added some sparkle. I don't know if that's how you said it, but that's how I said it. I have begun the Stormlight Archive. I am about 75% of the way through The Way of Kings. Very different from Mistborn. Very enjoyable. But I was asked yesterday what it's about, and I don't know. I'm 75% of the way through. And when you ask me what the plot is, I'm like, there's this one chick who's like wants to be an apprentice, but what she's really there for is to steal something magical, but I don't know where that's going. And there's this other dude who's like getting too old to be a warrior, but he's still a warrior. He might be losing his mind, but I don't think he is. Magical stuff is happening. We're going to check him out. And there's this other dude who used to be a warrior, but now he's a slave. And, that's kind of a whole thing. What's the plot? I don't know. I have no idea. But it's incredibly enjoyable to read. The characters are incredible. I hear it only gets better. I'm waiting for the Sanderlanche, in that last 10% of the book. I'm waiting for him to just sucker punch me. We'll see. But that is my first foray into the Stormlight Archive. I have read all of Mistborn, though. Era 1 and Era 2. I was just too in love with that world to jump after the first era. All right, y'all. Let's get ready for another sprint. Here we go. Get the words down.
go back, 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 back.
All right, y'all. That's a 15-minute break. How did we do? Shout it out. Progress reports.
Let us go back.
Chat's been hopping. Happy to see that. Forgive me, I had to sneeze. All right. Guys, what do we got going on? 231 words for that sprint. End of episode 10. Very nice. I have a sneeze like bubbling up right behind the nose. I apologize. Working on my morning pages and journaling while enjoying my morning tea. Very nice. What kind of tea? Got another 315 words, all dialogue. Woo! Someone, it was Bethany Vota, when she was on my book club at the time, Tuber Book Club, while reading Mythic Shadow of the Spark. Or actually, no, it wasn't during that. It was when she was doing a critique on the book itself. She did like a chapter or something. Anyway, point is, she kind of gave me this challenge. She was like, "Hey, I really dig your dialogue. I would love to see you write something that was all dialogue." And I was like, "Challenge accepted." So one of the short story, flash fiction-y type dealies that's going to be in a collection that I have coming out soon is all dialogue. Just for Bethany. Started tidying my office and then decided to test how well my fountain pen holds up on some stationery paper I found. Experimentation. Very nice. English breakfast with creamer. Tea. She wanted to pull a Kevin Smith. Oh, I'm missing something. Who was pulling a Kevin Smith? Oh, with telling me to do all dialogue. Gotcha. Yeah. I pieced it together like a second before you. I got it. Slow. So I am working these days on my second novel, Mythic, The Face of Gaia. I love to explain to folks that while book one took place on this very sci-fi tech-heavy world right here, book two will take place on that fantasy-filled world right there. So it's a bit of a different animal. It's been very challenging in a good way to find the sort of flavor for this book. You know what I mean? Because it's still sci-fi fantasy, except my sci-fi characters are now set foot on a fantasy world. And so that's going to change things up a bit. It's going to be interesting to see where it goes. Very interesting to see where it goes. For those of you interested in keeping up with this sort of thing, my writing, that is, go to booksbyadrian.com and sign up for my mailing list, as my mailing list will always be the first to hear of new things coming out, including the members only area coming out soon, which has lots of behind the scenes stuff for the new book. It's going to be great. All dialogue is tough. Having to rewire my way of thinking, since comic strips are basically a lot of dialogue, little in way of long scene descriptions. Right. Well, comic scripts, obviously, the scene descriptions would be for the author. For the artist to turn into artwork. So yeah, I mean, they're there, but not for the reader. So yes, that is a very interesting challenge for me. And this probably serves to Ben's Kevin Smith reference. Um, when I sat down to write this particular short story with all dialogue, um, what came out was something akin to the diner scene in Heat. Uh, in other words, the cop and the villain, the cop and the criminal, the detective and the So that's what the scene is. The scene is a detective working missing persons cases, sitting across from the cause of these missing persons without knowing. And throughout the course of their conversation, the realization sort of dawns on him and the conversation changes and becomes something else. And so that was really interesting to do. And it's not finished. I'm still working on it. But uh yeah, just sitting in a diner. And the thing about diners is while they have a bit of character to them, they're also kind of notorious for being very stark white, fluorescent lighting. You know what I mean? Like tile floors, like very like once you describe it once of like, hey, this place is very bland and boring, and then just to zero in on the character, you can just go straight into dialogue and never change again. It's interesting. Yeah, it's going to be a part of the short story collection that's going to come out before my next novel. Um, I'm essentially going to be releasing 3 books within the next 12 months, uh, maybe 15 months. um, and that short story collection will be one of them, and that story will be among them. Folks on my newsletter and in the members only area of my site, which hasn't launched yet, will be the first to read these stories and be able to critique them and add their feedback and help me to form them into, publish worthy stories, which will come out. It's going to be great. I feel like I haven't seen you in forever. Good morning to you. How are you? Yeah, we're all excited to see you. Where you been? Right on. Everybody, take this break as a good time to get some water, get hydrated, refill your coffee or tea, grab a snack, whatever you got to do, because we're going to be going into another 25-minute sprint after this break. And let's see. That's going to put us at about 25 minutes. Yeah, that's going to put us at about 1:45. So this is probably going to be our last 25-minute sprint, and then we'll wrap things up towards the end. I am wonderful. Thank you for asking. I talked about this a little bit yesterday, but I had this bad habit of checking my sales every single day. Every day, I just log in, check my sales. And on the days where I sold a copy, my heart was filled with joy and it was fantastic. But days where I sell copies versus days where I don't, there's way more days where I don't. And so I had made that a habit unintentionally. And I'm a creature of habit and I couldn't stop. And for 2025, I was like, you know what? We got to change this up. So me being the hippie that I am, married to a witch. She's a witch. Um, I'm getting way more into like the whole manifestation thing, and so every morning when I'm doing my stretches, I have been saying to the universe, I am thankful for my book becoming a bestseller. I am grateful for my book going viral. I'm thankful for that big booktuber doing a book review about me. These things have not happened yet, but I'm thankful for them already nonetheless. And I have made it a goal to not check my sales. Not just not check them every day, but to not check them at all, except for the last day of the month. On the last day of the month, I will check my sales one time each month. And that way, I will always, hopefully, be pleasantly surprised. Uh, Add to that the fact, excuse me, that this week is this marathon. My subscribership on YouTube has climbed a little bit for the first time in like 12 months, right? Because I've been on a little bit of a YouTube hiatus this year, working on my writing. And so the viewership is going up. And I had a few folks yesterday explain to me that I have made them curious about the book and they're going to be checking it out. And that tells me that hopefully there's a few sales coming out of that. And that's very, very awesome. And I'm very grateful for that. And I had a big win last week, a big author win that I'd love to share with you guys before our break is up here, which is getting my book into the local library system was a bit of a challenge, but I got it in. Um, and once it was in, like my sales, I can't help it. Every time I visit that library, which is very often because that's the one that my children like the most, every time I go there, I go straight to the shelf where my book is. They have two copies of it, and I check to see if it's still there. And every single time I've checked, every time without fail, it has been there. No one had ever checked it out. Two copies, never checked out, always on the shelf. And, you know, that's a bummer. But last week I went, and sure enough, they weren't there. Both of them were not there. And I thought the library surely must have thrown my books into the garbage, and they're gone. So I logged into the computer and looked up my own book as if I wanted to check it out. And lo and behold, not only was it checked out, both were checked out, and there was at least one person waiting for it to come back on hold. That amazing, amazing. Because think about that. Library browsers are browsers, right? Like they don't know they don't even know what they're looking for. They're just looking. And I'm in the sci-fi fantasy section with the last name Santiago. You know who shares my shelf? I'm right next to this dude. Sanderson Santiago. I'm how? So the fact that this spine alone was enough to make two people go, I'm going to check this book out. What? What? That's an author win, okay? I don't know who you are or who your pappy is, but that's an author win. And I'm just so thankful. So I'm looking forward to the end of the month when I check my sales and I see that I sold 1,000 copies or whatever it is. It's going to be fantastic. And I'm going to quit my job and be a full-time self-published author because the universe helped me do it. Let's talk to people. I've rambled enough. We got 2 minutes. Hello, Ginny. Welcome. I had to stop checking my sales every day. Yeah, because it was depressing. Once a week suits me much better. I couldn't even give myself that. I couldn't give myself that wiggle room either. Once a week is still not far enough. It needs to be once a month for me. I'm glad that works for you. Witches are awesome. Can't say life is boring then. Not at all. Not at all. Check mine once a month. Very good. Need to do that? Please do. It's a wonderful transition to a healthy habit. Thank you. I know myself, and I have this whole ADHD thing going on, and because of that, I'm very bad at schedules, but I am very, very good at habits. I form habits, and once I form them, there is no stopping them. And so this month I am working on making that a habit. And I got to tell you, this week it's been very hard not to click on that button and check those sales. It's right there. It's looking right at me. That button is right there. I can see it. And I just don't click it. Don't click it. Wait to the end of the month. It's fantastic. I've been putting books on Amazon wishlist, but I try to seek out their website or Shopify or wherever they sell direct. I sell direct at booksbyadrian.com. Great news. Thank you. Thank you. It is great news. Thank you. So happy I need to check if they got my book. I requested it. If you're talking about the library, that's how you do it. You have to request it as a patron of the library, because I went through the proper channels of like filling out the form and donating a book and all that stuff, and they rejected it because I don't have an audience that they recognize as big enough. So I was like, well, I'm a patron of this library. I'm going to request my book. And sure enough, 3 weeks later, there it was. 2 copies. Wow. All right, y'all. We're going into a sprint. Everybody get ready. Crack your knuckles. Y'all ready? Here we go. Last sprint. Wrapping it up. 4, 3, 2, 1. Go. All right, y'all. That's time. That's our sprint, our final sprint of the day. How did everybody do overall? Are we happy with our progress? What's the happy hap? Threw in a bunch of promotional stuff for the book in the chat. A couple of things there for you guys to read through. Thanks for hosting. Hey, my pleasure. Great getting to know you guys. I'm glad that I'm able to expose myself to some new audiences. Welcome. 210 words and notes on the next episode of Ember and Ashes. Very nice. Very nice. Actually, this is online, so we snap here. We don't clap, right? We snap, right? Outstanding. So nice to hang out with you guys. Keep in mind, the marathon keeps going. Go over to the playlist to see who is sprinting next. Around noon, I will be doing the break party stream with over at Miranda's Cauldron. Looking forward to that. Always nice to meet another witchy lady. 329 words for that sprint. Feeling pretty good about this. Heck yeah, you are, because that's awesome. Well done. My pleasure, Sam. Thank you for throwing this little shindig. Finished setting up her planner. Very nice. Trackers for this week. Very nice. My pleasure. My pleasure. So, before you guys head out, real quick, little, let's see. If you can't tell, I'm kind of a laid back, chill sort of dude. So if you like those sort of vibes, please subscribe and come back. I have been on a little bit of a hiatus from YouTube in 2024, but I am making a big comeback in 2025. I have a little cache of videos building up right now that I am recording every chance that I get so that I can do that whole Patreon thing that people do on YouTube where they have they release their stuff there first and then eventually you get on YouTube. I'm not doing Patreon. I'm doing a members only site on my website, but I'm doing that same kind of concept where you'll get all the stuff there first, and then over time I will slowly dole it out on YouTube, and not slowly, on a schedule. But so if you would like to take a look at all that, be part of the community, read the book, talk about it, ask me questions, all that good stuff, please go over to booksbyadrian.com as listed right there and sign up for the newsletter. You'll get a free short story. It will introduce you to my world and my characters, and then you can pick up the novel and let's have a little chin wag about it, as the Brits say. All right, let's see, 348. Nice. My pleasure. Managed to find some info from sources. Can now put in my chapter. So ready for the day. Very nice. Research is important. It's good to see you're coming back to YouTube. I am. I'm slowly getting there. I'm building up towards it. My channel for a long time was all about interviewing other authors. Part of the reason for that is that I don't like being a how-to channel. I don't want to be a how-to channel. There are so many how to be an author channels out there. That's not my deal. I'm not here to teach anybody anything. So I did the interview thing because it was my goal to learn from my fellow authors rather than to teach them. But now that I am published and I'm trying to build up my readership, I want to focus on that. I want to focus on me and my stories. And so I will be doing some readings throughout the year on my channel. I will be doing some audiobook segments on my channel. I will be doing some animation stuff with my stories on my channel. Basically, I am focusing on the stories. I will be releasing some new flash fiction and short stories to my newsletter first. My membership only website will launch at the end of March, early April. And that's where you can find all of that stuff collected. And in the meantime, it all begins with the newsletter. So go over and take a look at that. Sounds like an awesome plan. I love it when plans come together. Don't we just? Now you need to watch 18. Can't say that line without going to watch 18. As an OG Adrian follower, I'm so happy to see you coming back. Hey, I'm happy to be back. Thanks, Adrian. I've been lurking, working up waking up and getting the day going slowly. Well, I'm glad that you're awake. Thank you for joining us, and thanks for lurking. It helps my views. Thank you for the sprints. My pleasure. Why is the tea gone? Is that a reference to why is the rum gone? A team, miss them. Classic. Folks, if you have any questions for me, now would be the time to do it. We're about to sign off for the day. We have about 8 minutes before the next show begins, and I would like to bow out about a minute or two before that to give folks a chance to switch on over. Tea mug is empty. Yeah. My coffee mug became empty, and now my water glass is empty. Everything's empty. You guys, the marathon has been kicking. I'm having a blast with it. I'm meeting some new people. This is great. I hope you guys stick around. There are big things coming for Books by Adrian in 2025. Again, I am releasing at minimum 2 books before December of this year. 3 if I can make it happen, but that third book, being the big novel, is probably going to be early next year, as I am still in the throes of writing that. The 2 books that I will be releasing this year before December are, number 1, a short story collection called Mythic Histories and Lore, Volume 1. It is a companion to this first novel in the sense that it gives you a little bit of backstory into how that very tech-heavy sci-fi world was created, how it came to be, and how the villain of this story came into power, so to speak. So that will be a short story collection released before the end of this year. The other thing releasing before the end of this year is a yet untitled, I have a working title for it. I don't want to reveal because I might stick to it. I might change it. But it's a novella, a nice little novella following one of the side characters from book 1, who is going to become a much bigger player in the series going forward, but who doesn't have a place in book 2 just yet. So she's got her own novella that will carry you through her story, so that by the time she comes back around book 3, she's going to be really big in your mind. So that's going to happen coming up later this year. So please stick around, sign up for the newsletter, all of that good stuff. Looking forward to doing our interview for On the Wings. Yes, I'm looking forward to that too. That's coming up in a couple of weeks. Super excited. I will be interviewed by this lovely young lady. I'm so excited. I'm a little nervous. I'm usually on the other side of the interview. But like I said, I'm moving away from that. So it's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. Being next to Sanderson, you're going to work on taking over the shelf. Hey, he's got a head start on me, man. He's got a head start and he's not slowing down anytime. So that dude cranks out a book like every 3 weeks. It's crazy. I didn't think of that. It's true. Santiago must take over Sando. I don't know about taking over. But as I was saying earlier, being on the same shelf as him, especially in the library, Sci-Fi Fantasy section, Sanderson, Santiago, we are right next to each other on that shelf. So the fact that anybody checked out my book at all, let alone both copies were checked out, I mean, that's the universe. Not yet. You don't know how annoying I can be. I can. All right, y'all. It's 5 till. Let's wrap this bad boy up. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for all of the marathon. Thank you to Sam for putting it together. This has been outstanding. You guys are outstanding. Sign up for the newsletter. Buy my book. Good times ahead. All right, y'all. Peace.